What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the NECA Godzilla King of the Monsters, Mothra. Here we do have Mothra in the packaging. Really excited to have this figure. What we're going to do now is take a little break, get her opened up, and we'll have a better look at the Queen of the Monsters. Stay tuned, everyone. And so here we have Mothra posed and out of the packaging, and I am really impressed with this figure. At the same time, a little bit underwhelmed, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But for starters, let's actually run through Mothra's accessories, because Mothra does get two. Mothra, of course, does come with a Monarch outpost with her cocoon, which looks really, really good. And then we also do get a flight stand for Mothra. Unfortunately, it is just a solid piece of plastic. There's no joints on it, so you're going to have Mothra displayed either standing on her cocoon or flying over the outpost, which is a little bit unfortunate. Other than that, Mothra really doesn't come with anything else, so let's actually move on to her details. And so here we have a closer look at Mothra, and you can see she's a really small figure. You can see that my fingers pretty much cover her entire body, but the wings are really impressive on her, so let's actually just talk about her details really fast. You can see on her head she does have those really rich, deep, metallic blue eyes, which look really, really good. It is a little bit unfortunate that her antenna right here kind of do get lost in her sculpt, just the way they sculpted it. If they had made her head maybe a separate piece with the antennas attached to that and then plugged it onto the body, you'd see the antennas more, but overall you can still make them out. They're not the most noticeable little detail, but they are there. Mothra, of course, does have 6 little legs, you can see right here. They're all individually sculpted and painted really, really well. You can see she does have claws at the end of all her feet, especially back here. You can see her little stinger right here, although it's not really sculpted on, but it is implied that she does have a stinger on her thorax. You can see NECA actually sculpted the underside of Mothra. Let's get her legs out of the way. Now, only 4 of her legs are articulated. The rest of her is static, so her entire body here is one piece that includes these 2 little legs right here. But the sculpt on them is really fantastic. You can see they actually do have some little razors right here at the edge of her legs, which look really good, especially right here on the inner legs. Outer legs, she doesn't really have them, but still a really solid piece. And she does look like she has some fur on her wings, which is pretty accurate to the movie. She does look like she has a little bit of texture to her, which I am glad about. We do have a backwards image of Mothra, as you can see. Now let's actually talk about her wings, because I think the wings are what makes this figure so amazing. They did a really good job, not only sculpting, but painting the wings. Her wings are on translucent plastic, and I'll put a picture up right here just so you can see light going through them. It's a really cool little thing, and I am glad NECA was able to do that. You can see there's a lot of texture on the outside of the wing as well as on the inside, so there's really no expense spared on her detail. You can see all the blacks look really clean, the orange, the yellows, the whites, all just look crisp and clean. I really don't see too many errors on mine, which is a good thing because you don't want to have your figures with sloppy paint, especially when you're paying $25 for them. The wings on Mothra look really good. You can see just a little bit of paint is bleeding through right there, but that's perfectly okay with me. It's a little bit, and it's not too noticeable. On the back you can see more of her wings, and they just did a really good job with that. So overall, Mothra here has a lot of nice little detail. Unfortunately, she is a really small figure. And just to give you a size comparison, what we're going to do now is actually compare it to a few other figures you may have in your collection. And so here we have Mothra posed next to a DC Multiverse Superman and a Marvel Legends Cyclops. Here we have Mothra posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. And finally, here we have Mothra posed next to Godzilla from the King of the Monsters line. So with the comparison out of the way, let's actually move on to Mothra's articulation, and I do feel like Mothra here could have had a little more articulation than what they gave her. Let's actually start with her body. All her little limbs, except for the two sculpted onto her body, have a ball joint, but they are only good for swivel. You can't really move them outward because they don't hinge. It's just basically a ball joint for clean movement. Both her legs do go forward, and they do go back. And then her hind legs also do go forward, and then they also do go back quite a bit. Her wings also do have articulation. She does have a hinge in the top wing, which works really good. It goes all the way up, and for the most part all the way down. And then her forewing also has articulation. It does go up to about there. It does go down about there. And combining the two, you can actually get Mothra in a few decent flying poses, so I do like that. And I think what I like the most is that her forewings are made of a softer plastic than her front wings, or top wings, whatever you want to call them. And I do feel like maybe they could have made these out of a rubbery material and maybe thrown a wireframe in here just to get the wings bending, because straight wings do make it really hard for her to hold the shape. And you can see on the right side of her, the wings don't even support their own weight. Like, it's just floppy. It only holds right here and holds right there, and that's just because of the forewing. So overall, pretty subpar articulation. They could have done so much more with Mothra, but it's a pretty okay figure if you ask me. So what we're going to do now is take a little break, get her posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we do have Mothra posed for my final thoughts, and overall I think Mothra here is an okay figure, with okay being a really shaky okay. Even though Mothra here is chock full of a lot of detail, there's so many missed opportunities here. I really do feel like NECA could have added a wireframe into her wings, made her wings out of a softer plastic, just so they can bend, and I'm pretty sure that softer plastic probably would have helped with the weight issue, because as it stands, her right wing can't support its own weight, and that's not just on my figure. It tends to be something that's all across the board. Maybe having her wings able to rotate as well would have helped this figure, but overall the detailing on this figure is really nice. Now, one problem I do have with Mothra here is that she is running $25. Mothra costs the exact same amount of cost as Godzilla, and that is outrageous, seeing as how Mothra is really small, and I don't really feel like $25 justifies the price point on this figure. If you can get this figure on clearance or can get her for a bargain, I really recommend you do that. Otherwise, I would say this figure is a pass, because we were originally supposed to get an extra accessory with her, which was her larval form, but NECA axed it at some point during production, so unfortunately she doesn't even get the larval form. And I do feel like that's a missed opportunity by NECA. So overall, if you are a fan of Godzilla like I am, and really did enjoy the movie, I would say that Mothra is a really solid figure. But it's not a decent pickup whatsoever. I do feel a little cheated, seeing as how she is really small and really doesn't have much going for her other than detail. With that being said, guys, I'm KingofDragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other NECA videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. And while you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a new video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.